What is up, my fellow Shield Brothers? It's the Shield Brother here with the American Armada for your What If Mondays. Today's episode is What If America Had a Monarchy? The alternate world of an American empire, of an American monarchy. With that, let's get started for today. How? That is the very first question everyone is going to be asking when you propose a monarchy for the United States of America, the very beacon of democracy, the very beacon of Western civilization for many times now. Well, this change is due to two things. It is due to a generally worse critical period, which takes the United States to the very brink of a civil war at its very early stages. When the Constitutional Convention meets in 1787, the result is a constitutional monarchy born with George Washington as its first monarch. In a nutshell, it's an American monarchy born in the very early stage of the United States. This is being due to two things, as I said. The first is it's during the period of the critical period, which is 1783 to 1787, which proves to be far worse in this timeline. Shays' Rebellion is bloodier and inspires similar uprisings in other states. The Constitutional Convention convenes like in our timeline, but recent events make the delegates more open to a constitutional monarchy, especially with the promise that Washington would be the first American king and it would be passed through his bloodline. Same as above, most Americans are willing to have a monarchy if it's Washington. In this timeline, I tentatively have Jefferson fleeing to France out of protest and fear, and becoming far more radical than he was in our timeline. So that's how the bludgeoning of America and the very birth of the states could lead to a constitutional monarchy due to just simply an increase in the critical period. And in our timeline, instead of the Shays' Rebellion being put down easily, it's much bloodier and longer and being very much a beacon for other uprisings in other states. So this fear inspires a constitutional monarchy. So the American domain, American monarchy, is being ruled by the House of Washington. And it's a federal system of government, much like our timeline, with the branches and then the Constitution for the monarchy to be withdrawn. New York City is the capital. Surviving French Empire is under the Bonapartes, and differing ideologies than just in our timeline equivalents. There are many different ideologies going on in the world. Gradual manumism, beginning in the 1830s thanks to the cotton gin, being invented much later, and much more different perspective of the situation. Republicanism is seen as a radical ideology, having the appeal that our timeline has with Marxism and extreme libertarianism. And so this republicanism, although very ordinary and very important in our timeline, is seen as a obstruction of the constitutional monarchy and the powers of the government, and it's seen as a radical change and an unwanted change. So the background of this monarchy. Washington still had no children for whom to pass down his line. My theory is his nephew Bushrod Washington is selected by him to be his heir, and Alexander Hamilton is the first prime minister. After the Napoleonic Wars, many European empires and powers rushed to marry heirs, princesses, and princes to the members of the American royal families, quickly re-solidifying the American monarchy and the idea of monarchies in the world, and ending this idea of radical republicanism. It puts a quick end to the radical republicanism due to the reinforcement and re-establishing of the monarchy, not only in America but the European powers, due to the marrying interbeing between the royal families. So there are the hierarchy. So the flag on the top left is the national flag, with the top right being the customs flag. And then underneath you have the flag of the emperor, left to right, the flag of the emperor, the flag of the empress, the flag of the Archduke of California, the flag of the members of the imperial house, and on the bottom is the flag of the prime minister, and then the flag of the other ministers. This is a brilliant idea I found on the internet of how such a hierarchy and such a monarchy could be broken down, such as England has it broken down between the dukes and duchesses, etc. of these titles. So you could have such things as the Emperor and Empress being, started with George Washington and Martha, and then you would have the flag of things such as the Archduke of California, which I think is just genius. If this was to be a constitutional monarchy, that would be a great breakdown for larger areas, etc., and a way to reestablish and connect the territories of the Union, of the Empire, for say. So this would remap Europe, because it was a dying idea during the Napoleonic Wars and afterwards into the First World War that you no longer needed, especially, 1845, 1860, that you no longer needed an empire. You didn't need a monarch. The monarch was slowly dying. But this would remap, and as I said, it would re-solidify the idea of the monarchy and ending any radical uprising, especially in America, but it could help remap and re-solidify the stations of the European empires, etc. And these monarchs and emperors would be able to look at this new empire that was birthed in America, look at this brand new one, this very young empire, this very new young country, territory, and be like, well, look, there's a brand new one who not only is birthed brand new from the English, but has chosen to choose a constitutional monarchy. And this could show how the monarchy is needed, and it would remap and re-solidify the idea in Europe. So the possibilities with an idea like this, there's a lot of possibilities that go into this, and I'm not going to dive into all of them. As for the American Civil War, which might be a very popular thing that might come into people's head when you think of a monarchy, how would this change and how would this affect the American Civil War? Well, I would think that it would not be on the same terms or same timeline as ours. It would be much earlier, with the anti-federals would refuse to bow to a king, and federals would be divided by issue. Washington would lose widespread popularity, and Britain would have a field day with this, being like, look, you should have stayed with us. However, this could also be quite the reverse, and the US could lose credibility for many reasons. Washington would certainly not be as widely admired by liberals, but I doubt if the Patrick Henrys and the Tom Paines could have mounted any significant revolt. For all the disappointed radicals, there would be twice as many ordinary plebs and citizens who would be relieved by the return of a familiar system in someone they trusted, such as Washington. So you would have this long-lasting empire, I would think, as I kind of contemplate with that American domain. But if you go back and you look at the American domain, you can see how they have the United States, they have Cuba, Puerto Rico, etc., and they also have all of Canada, and then they have the colony, the two small colonies on the western coast of Africa. And then you can see how the background leads to that, with King George I of America being able to establish, through the support of the hierarchy and the Constitution and the remapping, into this one very conflicted yet very important constitutional monarchy. This monarchy and Empire of America would have a lot of possibilities and a lot of future before them. If we did have a small civil war at the beginning due to anti-feds refusing to bow, that could be ended quite quickly. And then this would lead to possibly no civil war that we know of between the North and South, but it might still happen, but I'm not going to dive into that into this video. I'm just kind of looking at the broad scheme of this United States monarchy, or not United States, but this American empire. Thank you so much for tuning in for this What If Monday. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave me a like. If you didn't, leave me a dislike. If you have a comment, suggestion, or a concern on how this could have gone differently, leave that in the comment section for me. And as always, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and click the bell so you can always get my videos. And with that, I hope that this American empire might show you how things could have been different, and maybe even a lot worse for the American history. And with that, this has been Shield Brother with the History Armada, and I'll catch y'all next time.